So biologically, twin babies are said or believed to normally come from God. Yes, children are gifts from God. Unfortunately, the twin sisters in the context today, I would say they may have came from the devil. Forgive me if I had to sound this way. This is unlike me, you know. But for a twin teenagers, age 14, two girls, to have made a man lost 44 years behind bars, 44 years in prison, because of whatever they claimed that happened that was never true. How sad could that be? You know, this man was put behind despite all the evidences that were provided showing that he did not do what he was accused of. Yet, the jury, all of them insisted, and then this man was put behind without parole. Now, before I go on to play the main video for you, listen to the twin sisters, Karen and Sharon Sanders, and hear what they have to say after this man was declared innocent.
You're done. Meanwhile, the people responsible for stealing nearly half a century of his life said,
"We still have our anxiety. We still have our depressions. We still have our fears."
Hey, I am not surprised. Why wouldn't you have a depression? Why wouldn't you have an anxiety? Why wouldn't you have sleepless nights and all of that? Because your conscience was pricking and fighting you. There was no way both of you could have had a peaceful sleep in the last 44 years. Having accused a man of deflowering both of you know what I mean by deflowering, both the twin sisters. Whereas the high men, you know what happens? When somebody has been deflowered, definitely the high man that covers the thing must have shifted. This is a sign to say, yeah, this person is no longer a virgin. But this set of twins, they claim that this particular man deflowered both of them. And what happened? Which was all lies. Even the medical reports, everything was hidden from this man and from the lawyer in charge of his case. They hid everything, and the jury were also aware of the medical results, suggesting that their hymens were intact. In another development, it was actually found that these twins later got into dirty bedroom dealings with their own blood cousin. Yet, they still insisted it was this innocent brother of ours that did it. Guess another thing that this lady said that was really contradictory and confusing when they were asked to identify the person that, you know, abused them. I'm saying that word slightly because of YouTube. They pointed out this our brother Simmions, you know, and they said all black men are the same, as if they look alike. And that was how this man was arrested. Now, I would let you watch the full video.
And Vincent Simmions has been sitting for 43 years in prison as an innocent man.
After spending 44 years wrongfully imprisoned, a man has finally won back his freedom. But the women who put him there show absolutely no remorse. Back in 1977, Vincent Simmions was just taking a walk through a park when police arrested him out of nowhere. He was taken, along with 6 other men, for a lineup. Simmions was the only one in handcuffs, and tragically, he was the one the girls picked. Turns out, 2 14-year-old white twins, Karen and Sharon Sanders, had claimed that 2 weeks earlier, a black man had assaulted them on a remote back road. They said they met a black man at a bar while hanging out with their cousin, Keith Laborde, and offered him a ride. They claimed that after getting into the car, the man pulled a knife, forced them into the trunk, and then attacked them. When police asked the twins to describe the man's appearance, they couldn't give any real details. Instead, they said, all black men look the same. Simmions was dragged into an interrogation room where he was brutally assaulted. Still in handcuffs, he was shoved to the ground and kicked in the head by detectives. When he tried to stand up, Deputy Robert Laborde shot him in the chest, missing his heart by just inches. At trial, despite there being no fingerprints, no DNA, and despite Simmions having an alibi backed by multiple witnesses, he was still found guilty. The jury dismissed all of his witnesses just because they had minor infractions like littering, parking tickets, or disorderly conduct. In the end, Simmions was sentenced to 100 years in prison with no chance of parole. While locked up, Simmions never stopped fighting to prove his innocence. Starting in 1977, he filed motion after motion asking to see evidence related to his case, but every request was denied. It wasn't until 1993, 16 years later, that he finally got copies of the hidden documents. Those files revealed shocking facts. Medical reports showed Sharon Sanders' hymen was intact, and neither of the twins had any bruises or signs of physical assault. The real story? The twins lied, trying to cover up inappropriate behavior with their cousin. Finally, in 2022, at 70 years old, Vincent Simmions walked free. No apology, no compensation. Only his lawyer, Justin Bonus, gripping his hand and telling him,
You free, man. You free, brother. You free. You done.
Meanwhile, the people responsible for stealing nearly half a century of his life said,
We still have our anxiety. We still have our depressions. We still have our fears.
a 25-year-old man lost 44 years of his life because of a stranger's lie. Should the cops, the judge, the jury, and those twin sisters be held accountable for ruining his life? Tell us what you think in the comments.
Now, did you hear the final conclusion? When he was freed and declared innocent. No apologies, no compensation. Hey, this system is something else, to be honest. After 44 years, he came out and the truth was finally revealed. Yes, no compensation, no apologies. And what do you think would happen to these twin sisters? Are they going to walk away freely, just like the man in that video asked the question? You know, how about the jury? One of my recent videos, where a UN judge was also sentenced to 6 years imprisonment here in the UK. How about the jury that carried out this man's case, the trial and everything, and put him behind for 44 years? Obviously, they deserve their own jail sentences as well, so that they can go and enjoy or experience what Simmions experienced in the last 44 years. This is ridiculous. I think the medical team, they are free from this because they actually brought up a result suggesting that these two girls, Sharon and Karen, their hymens were intact in the medical report. So nobody should go after them. But the people that they should question and then make them suffer the same are these two twin sisters. Because this incident actually took place when they were just 14 years of age, isn't it? So 14 plus 44 is around 58 years. Do the maths with me. You know, so they lived on with their life, they got married, or probably they had boyfriends and they had their first experience, you know, doing jiggy in bed and blood came out and all of that. You know, did they not share this story with their men? Especially talking to them about the man they put behind with their lies, in claim that the man actually deflowered them. You know, how were they able to raise their children? I mean, how do people survive living in lies? You know, not just living in lies, having somebody suffering, crying, praying, languishing behind because of your lies. You still walk around freely, go with that. Even finally that the truth came out, they were still talking rubbish, no apologies. They couldn't even say, we are really sorry for what you have caused you and blah, blah, blah. Think of how to compensate this man. And they were still claiming that they have their fears, anxieties, their worries. And why won't they have all that? They shouldn't have no peace, of course. So definitely, the jury that presided over this case, they should meant to pay. Yes. And also, these two ladies, they have to go in for it. Despite them being 58, they should go in and serve the rest of their years behind for what they did to this innocent man. What do you think? Leave your opinion in the comment section as well. See you again in my next upload. Bye.